Yes! No! Hey everybody, how's it going? In the last episode, we talked about shooting mechanisms. We have looked at the past designs and how the shooting mechanism have evolved over time. I have also built an up-to-date shooting mechanism and have concluded some tips that can be used in your design. In this episode, let's talk about grabber designs. Grabber designs are commonly used in challenge competition, where they require teams to pick up blocks or pins. Back in 2019 Premier Competition, teams are required to intake cargoes that were contained inside these foam containers. Teams including us are required to come up with a sturdy claw design. Another challenging task is for drivers to control the robot precisely in order to score the game pieces. Based on the past experiences we have gathered over the years, is that the simpler the robot is to control, the better result you will get from the competition. This is because drivers will concentrate on what's happening on the field, what the tactic is, how you need to correlate with your alliances, and quick reactions when something happens. So, the lesser the driver needs to think about the controls, the better performance you'll get from the competition. A way of reducing manual control commands on your robot is to make it semi-autonomous mechanisms. For example, when picking up blocks, you can add a distance sensor to your claw. By using the sensor, you can eliminate fine-tuning when docking during the competition. We have also used sensors for better accuracy. For example, gyro movement fine-tuning, but that's another topic for a different episode. A commonly used grabber design is the servo rubber band design, which you have probably seen it in my first episode. The strength of the design is the springiness. Another term is called soft connect. As we know when grabbing an item, in order to have better grips, you need to better the friction coefficient from one or both surfaces. For example, grabbing a glass cup with a pair of chopsticks is challenging due to the hard surface on both items. The minimum friction will give less grip on the item.
Coming at you with supersonic speed. You assuming I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, innovative, and I made a rubber so that anything you say is shaking off of me and it'll.
On the other hand, if you grab the glass cup with your hand, you can pick it up. This is because you change the materials between the two surfaces, as known as friction coefficient or force of friction. Thus, you're able to pick up the item.
Got it?
Got it.
Oh my. Okay. Yes! No! Another unique design that we migrated to MakeX competition is the rolly grabber intake. This intake mechanism is commonly used in FRC competitions. We use the rolly grabber design to intake stiffer game pieces such as milk crates or polycarbonate boards. The strength of the design is the fault tolerances and the ability to reposition the item when shifted on accident. As we could see, the friction wheel is constantly turning. So if the item was slipping, we can take the game pieces when needed. The weaknesses of the design is it will be heavier than the simple claw design. You might need to add more motors, structural aluminum, and 3D printed parts, and the friction wheel can be harder to purchase or manufacture by yourself. There are all kinds of friction wheels you can choose from. For example, spring mechanism wheel, pneumatic friction wheel, sun friction wheel, rubber friction wheel, and so on. Usually, you can decide what type of friction wheel you will need for different mechanisms. For example, if you're intaking a hard rigid item, you will want to use a stiffer friction wheel. And if the item is soft and light, you can use a squishier friction wheel. The number of squishiness you're looking for is called durometer offshore. Usually the higher the number is, the harder the rubber material will be. And that's it for today's episode. Thanks for watching all the way till the end. In the next video, let's talk about a 4-bar mechanism that we commonly used back in 2019. If you liked it, you can subscribe if you want, share with your friends and teams, and make sure to wear a mask. And until next time, goodbye.